Hi, Mr. Richards here. Today's lesson is on probability of simple events. Our first vocabulary word is outcome. And what is an outcome? It is the possible result of a probability experiment. What is a simple event? Well, it is one outcome or a collection of outcomes. And what is the probability of an event? Well, this is defined as the ratio of the number of ways a certain event can occur, and that's the top part of the ratio, the number of ways a certain event can occur to the number of possible outcomes. And this can be can be expressed as the probability of any event is going to equal the number of favorable outcomes over the number of possible outcomes. It contains 8 red, 7 blue, and 5 yellow blocks. A block is selected without looking. Find the probability of a yellow block. Then describe the likelihood of the event. Write impossible, unlikely, equally likely, likely, or certain. Well, we're looking for the probability of yellow. And as we set this up as our ratio, the top part of the ratio, remember, is the number of favorable outcomes, the outcomes we're looking for. And so for the top part of our fraction here, we can say number of yellow blocks. We're going to compare that then on the bottom, the number of possible outcomes, which is the number of all blocks. And so the number of yellow blocks in our question this time was 5 over the number of all blocks. 8 plus 7 plus 5 is 20. And we can simplify this fraction 1/4, which is the same thing as 25%. Now as we look to write impossible, unlikely, equally likely, likely, or certain, we can use this as our guide. And so 1/4 or 25% falls into this unlikely range. So it is unlikely to randomly get a yellow block in this question. So a sample space is the set of all possible outcomes. And so suppose a number cube is rolled whose sides are numbered 1 through 6. Find the probability of a 4 or 5. Then describe the likelihood of the event. Again, write impossible, unlikely, equally likely, likely, or certain. Let's look now at the sample space for this question. What are the possible outcomes when you roll a number cubed 1 through 6? Well, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6. And so the favorable outcomes we're looking for here include a 4 and a 5. And so the probability of this event can be expressed as the number of favorable outcomes over the number of possible outcomes. And so the number of favorable outcomes, we have the 4 and the 5, which are 2 favorable outcomes, over a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 outcomes. And 2 6 simplifies into 1/3, which is about 33 1/3%, which, looking at our scale now, falls, it's not impossible, it's not as likely to happen as not, so it still fits in this unlikely category. Example today, we're going to look at the complement of a set. What is the complement of a set? Well, the set of all objects that do not belong to the given set. Now, 2 events are complementary if one or the other must happen but they cannot happen at the same time. So now a box contains 8 red, 7 blue, and 5 yellow blocks. A block is selected without looking. Find the probability of not yellow. Then describe the likelihood of the event as impossible, unlikely, equally likely, likely, or certain. 2 ways of going about this. The first is to say, well, we're looking for the probability of not yellow, which is the same thing then as the probability of red or blue. And so when I look at red or blue, there are 15 that are red or blue over 20 total. That simplifies to 3/4, which is 75%, and using our scale, that's, well, likely to happen. The other way is to say, well, in this event, there's 8 red, 7 blue, 5 yellow. I'm 100% certain to get a block. So if I take a look at my 100% and subtract away the probability of getting a yellow, that will leave me with everything else. And so if there are 20 events, you have a 20 out of 20 chance of getting some block. And if you subtract away the probability of getting a yellow, 5 out of 20, you're again left with here then 15 over 20, which again simplifies to 3/4 or 75%, which is likely. So there's really two ways of going about it to solve this question. And that's it for this lesson of probability of simple events. Good luck.